Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. And we're gonna pull some cards today, family. I I had a very interesting communication, if you want to say, not last night, but night before. Uh, One of my karmic soulmates. I'm not going to call them just the karmic because I do understand their place in my life and I'm not upset. I'm still, fairly civil to my exes and stuff. But this particular one, I honestly had not expected to hear from anymore because, like I said, I had to kind of speak in no uncertain terms and let him know that we're truly done. There's no need to check up on me. We don't need to try to be friends. I don't wish him any harm. I've truly forgiven. I hope wish him the best. In fact, I know for a fact several of my exes watch my content. And I'm not going out of my way to try to be ugly or block them or whatever because as Holy Spirit works with me, maybe something that I say might benefit them too. That's not for me to determine. So I didn't put too much store into it, but I did let it be known the way he used to get a wild hair, take it upon himself to just be calling me at random, that definitely needed to stop. We literally have not been together romantically in 30 years. So why in the world, we and our children our children are 30 years old, so there's no need for to be calling none of that. This man that married and divorced 3 times and all the rest. So why I just have to stay up in the energy? And he's not the only one. I'm just saying this was the particular one that reached out to me a couple of days ago. But it made me wonder, I understand I can't be the only one that's having karmic spin the block. So I wanted to pull some cards. Not to definitely, I know, like I said, if you're here, I'm not saying taking them back or anything like that, or even anything we need to necessarily worry about. But sometimes spirit may have some information we just need to know. So I have some decks here that are not necessarily karmic decks, but I've got enough of them and I cleanse them and pre-shuffle that if there's something that comes out of them, then we should be able to find out. And if not, we'll get a beautiful message for ourselves otherwise. But I just felt compelled to. Normally, I don't like try to pull any karmic energies or want any karmic information like that. But I just found it very odd that I got this random call and messenger at 1:30 in the morning. And guess what? Had the nerve to tell me he wanted a reading. Like, boy, you don't want me to read you don't want that. But you know what? And I did not. I told him I'm not doing. Actually, if he had been sincere, I would have given him a reading because I've done it before for 2 of my other exes. I've read for them. Fact of the matter, it was reading for the one. And again, these are people I wasn't still romantically involved with. They were in the friend zone and that weird thing that I was under. But they were such good wolves hiding in sheep's clothing that I was convinced that it was okay, it was cool to still remain friends with them. They wasn't all that friendly to begin with, but again, this is where I was at. I'm just being transparent. And during that time, as I began to be called to tarot, I didn't know any better. They asked me to read for them, and I did. And truthfully, the ones that I read for, they were very happy with what I saw. And I didn't, even when I saw things that, I didn't know what was going on with them because I'm not personally involved with them on a face to face thing. It was all over the phone. But one of them got a little tripped out because I saw something and told him about it. I read for his kids and everything else, but I saw some stuff that he said he had never told nobody but God. So he was all cool that I was willing to read for him, but like I said, I had to cleanse my cards and cut them energies out of my life a long time ago. So I'm not really trying to read for them specifically anymore. I'm more concerned with what Spirit wants us to know with relation to the karmics. I'm not reading for any karmic energy, so I don't mind calling in those energies from the tarot guides. So that said, I would like to call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Sandalphon, Archangel Metatron, Yeshua, Saint Germain, and Thoth, and as well as my tarot guides and the ancestors for myself and any of those who may be being led to this reading now or in the quantum nature of tarot as time goes by. Beings of the white divine light and only beings of the highest divine light are welcome here. Archangel Michael, please put a wall of protection and blessing around us as I go into this reading. Ashe. All right, family, let's see what we got here. The tomb. So yeah, this is done. This ain't nothing. The secret came over there too, but we're gonna see what else is here. The tomb is an ending. Love. Ascension. Okay, cool. Closing them chapters is what some of us had to do in order to get through this ascension cycle and get love. But we're gonna keep going. Because I mean, I know for a fact I had to. And again, wasn't still romantically involved with any of my karmics. I've literally been, even the last one, my youngest child's father, we were like living under the same roof for a time, but there was no chance of reconciliation whatsoever. And like I said, I've been completely like, well, I ain't gonna say complete. Well, yeah, physically, I've been celibate for like more than 5 years now, but I wasn't romantically involved with any of them. I had one very toxic friend that was hanging around in the friend zone and had some kind of weird imbalanced obsession thing, but there's no way. And I made it very, very clear. It wasn't like I was leading him on. I've always made him very clear that there was no chance of anything romantic between us. And then the others, like I said, were exes down the line that still, after the relationship was over, and oddly enough, they didn't want to do right by me, but all of them wanted me to stick around in their energy. They go off and marry somebody else and then call me and complain about how horrible it's going. I'm like, who does that? But Spirit made it very clear to me a few years ago that I had to cut those energies out of my life, that the divine counterpart that I wanted to, or I had manifested, I met him, knew who it was, but was still having a hard time coming into union with this person. I had no idea that at the time I had literal evil eye and spell work being done to keep me from coming into union with this person. But Spirit finally let me know in a way that I could hear it, that in order for me to get to love and this point of ascension, that stuff that needed to be buried has to be buried. Let it go. Like I say, release your ex. Wake up call. Ambition fuels the search for rarity, yet reality may temper expectations. And then we have here, Wisdom Cube, soon to face a choice, regard it as solving a multifaceted cube, explore from all angles to unveil the right path. That's for any of us who may still have some loose ends that we may need to tie up, perhaps with an ex or karmic, because it doesn't have to be a romantic situation. Karmics could be family members, work folks, toxic friends, whatever the case may be, because we have all kinds of karmic lessons. It's not always just relationships. Oftentimes there is a romantic, because I mean, like I said, relationships are the thing that can hurt us the most. People that you don't really care about can't really hurt you. So very often our most significant life lessons are delivered to us via an emotional relationship or tie, whether it's a parent, a sibling, or a romantic partner. Yeah. And I don't need to take any more of these. What's this here? Knightsville, Dice of Destiny. Unseen Justice coming though. I like that. Let's see here. Spring timing card, planting seeds, preparation, putting in the work. So that's good though, tomb. And for many of us, that tomb scenario was another round of dark night or what have you. We've been through the tomb most of the winter. Okay, so we got 2 timing cards, spring and summer here. Well, there's a progression. And thoughts, feeling trapped, overthinking in your head, worries and fears. Is what was in your head trapping you, keeping this from coming to fruition, or like is it just kind of not knowing, or maybe it's just taking some time for you to sort through that stuff, do the healing work around it. So it may take some time. And truthfully, with spring and summer coming out back to back, that is 2-3 month seasons. So it could be something that truthfully won't even show up till fall, like 6 months or more. Oh, I think it's got to do with your money situation. And sometimes that do take a little time to line up because we got stuck in lack here. You have all the resources you need to carry you through, whether it's financial, emotional, or physical limitations that you think you have. It's only ego-based fears taking over. Rein them in and don't give up. And then your bravery. You're being asked to make a tough decision that you've been putting off because of fear, which is understandable. But you do have the strength and bravery to make this decision, and you will feel so much lighter when you do. Wow. Now this is huge. Because especially if it has to do with closing karmic cycles, even if you severed the physical connection with whatever that is, whether it's romantic, family, friends, job, whatever, you may have physically severed that connection, but still wearing the emotional fallout that's keeping you mentally stuck. Very often, it's interesting, 100 people could tell you something positive and one person tell you something negative, and guess what's going to ring in your head the loudest? The one negative thing. I know that's been true with me. A lot of the doubts and fears and stuff that I had, things that I hesitated on doing, moving forward with the channel. Can I say this? Who's going to be worried about that? And things like that was because of, I don't want to call them the chattering monkeys, but for real, it really is. It was people that so-called meant well, friends, family, what have you, that have said things over time that continue to ring in my head long after 30 other people and told me, you need to be a teacher. You got this. You got wisdom to impart. Every time I talk to you, I learn something new. Please go out there and write a book. Please go out there and create a channel. You should be teaching. You're a healer. You took my headaches away. You took my this or that. You got blessed hands. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. All of those people, I've had plenty of people show up as cheerleaders in my life, but what did I continue to hear? Then 1 or 2 magpies that had something, you know, the negative Nancy's. What are you sure you want to go do that? And it's hard to make a living doing this, and you shouldn't be going over here and doing that. And especially the ones that want to whip you to death with the Bible, their twisted version of what they think the Bible means, and they got to come in and give you all of this great scriptural advice because they know so much. I've had it all. And those were the ones that kept me stuck for a long, long time. And I think Spirit is saying here, don't get trapped in your thoughts. and allow yourself to stay stuck in this cycle, because like I said, love and ascension is here. And you've been in this tomb situation. Forgiveness. Extend love and forgiveness to everyone. To err is human, to forgive divine. So sometimes it's not even about, are you still dealing with these people? It's, have you truly forgiven enough to close that cycle for you? And have you forgiven yourself? We forgive everybody else. And a lot of times the way we do that is to take so much accountability for what happened. Like I was talking about old dude the other day, means well, but all of that, it's all just you. Nothing is happening outside of you. That's a nice theory for those that like to live that way. But when you get through forgiving everybody else and you want to rake everything unto yourself, how do you forgive you? The Spirit says you got to. You got to. It's keeping you stuck if you don't. Even balance work with scheduled rest and relaxation, and loose lips sink ships. Be careful what you say about someone. Is it the truth? And more importantly, is it kind? Because you can tell the truth about somebody. And back to what I was saying, even especially when you're dealing with the karmics, and especially the karmics that were emotional, like romantic relationships. If you had to end a romantic situation and those people truly did you wrong, it is very easy to be triggered back into the emotional space from when they first hurt you, and get back to that bitter place, want to fuss and cuss them out or talk overly long about what they took you through, the nitty gritty of it. Human tendency. And it may be the truth, but guess what? To some degree, when you still allow yourself to wade around in that ugliness, you are still, to some degree, casting a form of spell work over those people, because you don't know if you, especially if you don't still have any dealings with them or not, they may have learned their karmic lesson as well after they got out of your presence. You all may have met for a time and a season and a reason, and just like it hurt you, but you left that situation and you healed, they may have healed to some degree too. And turning around and speaking negatively about them as if they were still that same person stuck back in that same dirty rut might be doing them a disservice. I ain't saying you got to build up a fantasy to try to make them a hero if they're not, but just be mindful of what you allow to say, because they say the power of life and death is in the tongue. Like for real, especially with your own manifestations. You can shoot your own self in the foot manifestationally by refusing to let go of things that do not serve you well. And you and I both know, if we're honest with ourselves, especially the things that really hurt us, sometimes we can hold on to something, and in our pain from it, we choose to hold on to a version of it that isn't even entirely the truth. We rewrite it as it suits our pain and our mind. And if we choose to hold on to that, you can literally rewrite your past and lock yourself into cycles of decades of pain or negative karmic loops by refusing to let it go. I've seen it happen. I have a child, and I'm not saying any names. She may or may not ever watch it. She doesn't generally watch my content unless I send her something. But she was so angry and hurt and whatever with the world, and I don't know, I don't have her perceptions, so I can't say whether she's justified in her anger or not. But I do know for a fact, especially after talking to several, like independently to her other siblings, half of the stuff that she's holding bitter anger about over the years, nobody remembers that way except her. She's literally written a whole lot of angst and hurt and anger into her past that nobody remembers it going down that way. And again, I'm not just trying to turn a blind eye because I was a super crappy parent and blah, 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 blah. No. The level of anger and angst that she holds, I wanted to get her help for and whatever. We were estranged for several years because I flat out couldn't deal with her after she got grown. So much anger and so much disrespect, talked to people in ways that no one should talk to another human that way. And in her mind, she was justified in doing that. Never could see how much pain she caused or why she didn't always get her way or any of that stuff. Rewriting her own past because she couldn't get out of it and was literally speaking all of that pain into existence, renewing that pain, that karmic contract over and over for herself. And if I didn't want to stay looped into it with her, I had to break away. Yeah, and those are the ones that really hurt. You can leave a man, you can leave a woman, and that's going to hurt for a minute. But if you have to leave family members, a parent, a child, but guess what? When it's time to heal, if you want to close your karmic cycle, you might have to do that. Yes, indeed. Whale song resonating. And netcaster preparations come to fruition. This last season of cleanup work, if you will, as the karmic spin the block or however that goes on, it may be a little uncomfortable, but if you do that cleanup, it's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit you because you can't, like I said, you can't even see what spirit got for you. I used to, back in the day when I called myself dating, I used to be, my mouth was like way jazzier than I ever felt on the inside, but there were certain things, and I took way more than I should have. But one thing I would never tolerate is one of them dudes that wanted to openly be in your face with the womanizer thing in the little town that I was in. Trust me, one of my exes really was about that life, and his brother was even worse. They had women everywhere, and I was like, I had an attitude, you got to clear your plate before you sit down to dessert. And truthfully, it's the same thing here with spiritual blessings. You got to clear your karmic plate before you can sit down to the table that spirit has set for you. Rock bottom, must persevere and face life ahead on master situations that challenge you. Learn to push the boundaries of life. That's about entering this tomb scenario. But you've already seen rock bottom, hey. But the good thing is when you get to rock bottom, ain't nowhere to go but up. Oh, but you know what? There you go. While you were there, what was necessary? Doing this inner child work and the ego work. Healing unresolved childhood scars, childhood trauma is holding you back. Exploring your childhood wounds and dismantling the ego is a crucial step. The biggest block to your true self must explore the nature of your ego. That's an important part of healing. And until we do that, we ain't going nowhere. Now let's see here. I want to pull the goddesses to see if any of them want to come out. And then we're going to pull some tarot before I do any of the rest of these. Ooh, Aunt Nancy or Anunzi. Betrayal. So like I said, spirit is acknowledging you had some real stuff to deal with. Ain't nobody saying that there was no reason for you feeling the way you do. Just that it's, and honestly, that's part of the reason why the karmic spin the block. Because your energy is absolutely delicious to them. And once you done did what you do, and you think you done healed, sometimes spirit will allow those tests to come back into our experience to see if you really meant it. Did you really get it? Scarcity is here, yeah. These are the things that you had to deal with in your test if you were your karmic lessons. But guess what? You're being called up out of there. Live out loud. Mm-mm-mm. Let's go in here with some tarot. Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely want to get this work done. You got some practical magic to do here. We start out right out the gate with the Sun, the Queen of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. The Queen of Wands is a manifester. She's known as the witch in the tarot. By doing this spiritual work, going into that tomb, doing that shadow work, the inner child work, handling, like I said, handling them karmics when they spin the block, putting them in their place, forgiving, letting go with love, rewriting basically writing your future by rewriting your past with love. You got a lot coming out here for you. This looks really, really good. Let's see here. Ace of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Queen of Wands. What we got? Look at here. Knight of Cups and the Magician. Wow. Yeah. The dreamer. The Knight of Cups is kind of that dreamer. He uses the imagination. The Seven of Pentacles is planting seeds, kind of. Oh, look at here. But you know what? If you're trying to do this, of course the devil is gonna pop up. But that don't mean nothing. It sure don't. Eight of Wands is here. Bump what they say. And the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. So guess what? Like I said, get behind me, devil. Cause no, you ain't going down like that. Not today, Satan. Not today. There's the Sun here. King of Swords. Decision time. Okay. Ten of Cups is here with the Queen of Wands, and the Four of Wands with the Ace of Pentacles. We saw love coming right out here at the beginning. This love and ascension. So, yeah, this looked like a holy love that you're trying to get to. Wait a minute here. What is all this? That's too many to take the way they flip. Let me see. If they want to come back out, they will. But we do have the King of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the Four of Wands here with the Sun, the Queen of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. That looked like a holy union to me. And somebody ain't gonna like it. Maybe the Karmics. Five of Wands is here. But truthfully, actually, this is more competition than conflict. It don't matter though. When you do what you got to do, they can't touch you. It's gonna be folks that out. You go look. This, like I said, you got the Sun and the Ten of Cups here with the Ace of Pentacles, and we ended out over here with this Wheel of Fortune and the Magician. You really think there's anything that the Magician and the Queen of Wands gonna cook up between the Sun and the Wheel of Fortune that ain't gonna bring some haters? Oh yeah, this come with haters. Let them hate. They can't do nothing for you, nothing hurt you. Look, and Ace of Swords came out there. That's the truth. There's nothing that the haters, the karmics, or anything else they can do. Once you align with this, they can't take it from you. Like Cat Williams say, if you ain't got haters, you ain't doing something right. If you got 10 haters, you need to figure out how you can get to 12. And the same thing with the karmics. They ain't gonna act right. They're karmics. That's why they're karmics, because they couldn't act right. But don't you let that bother you. That ain't your business. You just keep rocking. Look at here. I need to just the star and the 10 of Pentacles. So you got the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands over here with this King of Swords, Queen of Wands, Magician scenario. And then the star with the sun and the Wheel of Fortune. Are you kidding me? In that context, truthfully, that puts the devil even in a different light, because it's talking about temptation and all that. Maybe that spirit's warning, yeah, you're going through this rebirth cycle. I think that devil is either representing the commerce end of Capricorn or the warning not to get too caught up in this, because this looked like a delicious, sexy power couple, divine counterpart type love scenario that's coming. And that's either the warning to don't let the devil block you from it, or let these karmics block you from it, or don't get so caught up in it that you lose sight of it, because it just is kind of one of them look too good to be true situations. Look, 2 of Wands. You don't see it yet, but you know it's out there. You're looking for it to come. Whoa, Empress right here at the bottom of the deck. And the Queen of Cups at the top. And the Sun. Yeah, I'm going to stop right here. Oh, I can't help it. 6 of Swords. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going from those choppy waters to the smoother waters. So if you don't see it yet, don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. Now let me see. I just want a couple of these just because I had the cards out here. But truthfully, I ain't even got to clarify no further than that. I don't think I'm going to clarify too much more, because I do want to read. I had want to grab a couple of the Yeshua card and the healing stones. Yes, sir. Look at here. Stand your ground, wisdom, and spiritual union. I ain't gotta go no further. That's beautiful. So I was concerned about why the karmic spinning the block. Well, you know why they spinning the block? Because you're close to what you've asked for, prayed for, and manifested. They just pop around just to see if they can trip you up and tempt you or get in the way or whatever. But nope. Like they said, get behind me, Satan. Not today. Oh, I wasn't even trying to leave these. I picked up the rest of that deck, and somehow these were left on the table. But we have, first it has obstacles and challenges is here, which we already acknowledged right at the beginning of the gate. But firm foundation, financial and material changes, hope, and triumph. Wow. Wow. And from the Yeshua cards, we have holy anger, be the change, and relieving suffering, move beyond pain. Wow. I don't think I've ever read that one before. I might grab that one and take a look at it. But before we do that, let me grab these healing stones over here and the ancient stones, and then we'll take a look at the Yeshua cards, because that's pretty nice. Wow, lay it on the altar. Hand it over, soften, surrender, forgive. So somebody is being really stubborn with this. That's probably why I was led to do this reading. It's not that the karmics are necessarily doing anything. Maybe there's some point of pain still sticking around that you thought you had kind of let go of, or maybe still need to do a little work around releasing that. It might still be a little too emotionally invested in what has happened instead of being able to see the blessing for it. And then nothing is impossible, open to the unexpected. You'll find a way. Stone of destiny is here, life path, ambition, passion, yes. With find your center, stay true to you, call it to you. Wow. And then, uh-oh. Plunge, don't hold back, it's time. Go for it, dive in. Wow, that didn't take long. Ooh, metamorphosis, embrace transformation. Things are now different. Cosmic ocean, current dreams, future realities, new beginnings. And just in case you forgot that this is about your love thing, the sweet waters, sensuality, romance, enjoyment, fertility, and balance. The rainbow, sweet relief, new beginnings, a way forward. Oh, and king tide, plenty, prosperity, receiving the fullness of life. Wow. And not planning on pulling that many, but that's how many popped over. So we're going to take them. That is pretty amazing. And then, here we go. I forgot to pull this book, but from the Yeshua deck, we had card 23 and 53. Relieving suffering, move beyond pain. You are asked to examine what you've been carrying, maybe alone, that has become so heavy it weighs you down. Like the cross on Yeshua's back, it is causing pressure, stress, and discomfort, creating no peace of mind or ability to fully cope. You may have considerable baggage and unhealed trauma or pent-up rage or sadness. It may have been a long road you have walked fraught with effort, hard work, and pain, or a shorter experience. But either way, your energy levels may be low, depleted, and needing a period of rest. Considerable responsibilities and duties, whether from a job, your family, or just modern day life, may be factors. Health may also be highlighted, whether physical, mental, or spiritual. A period of struggle you have gone through can certainly be indicated via this card. The cross has long been associated with Yeshua's greatest struggle, but also his greatest triumph. You are reminded that you too will triumph over any obstacle you face, and that whatever has occurred is witnessed by spirit. The times you were isolated, alone, afraid, and in pain have all been part of your journey, but will not be the end of you. Far from it. You'll grow from what you have endured or are going through. Any deeply etched line upon the brow, any gray hair, shows the markings of one who has survived what would have vanquished lesser beings. You are both a fighter and a winner, an indomitable soul. Nothing is lost, just as nothing was lost for Yeshua upon the cross. For he did not die, but was rebirthed anew. The suffering was the doorway to something far greater, and every tear and anguished cry forged deeper wisdom, understanding of the human spirit, and faith in a greater power. Into your hands I commend my spirit, were not the words of a beaten man or a victim, but one who surrendered, knowing that he would always be looked after, even in his hour of greatest need. He never lost his faith, and neither shall you. You will never be abandoned, and truly at our time of greatest need is when we often feel closest to God's presence. You are assured that you will always be held, and God has a plan for you that may not be visible to or obvious, but is very real and present and unfolding now. You are asked to gently begin the process of releasing the old stained shroud you wear. It bears the markings of what you were, not who you will become. A new gown awaits that is golden and illuminated with light. The shroud discarded on the cross reminds us that, like Yeshua, we are eternal beings given new keys to further doorways of existence and soul growth. The poppies of peace mix with the poppies of suffering, old and new energies symbolizing that we never forget what we've lived through, but we can begin to make peace with it, realizing our life is the sum of many parts, light and shade, happy and tragic times. Your story does not end here, it moves on, and all that you have learned will be invaluable wisdom to share. Your increased empathy and understanding will help many who have not walked in your shoes and failed to understand. Taking your hand now, Yeshua walks with you away from the cross to pastures new, filled with buttercup flowers and birds, where you are invited to give thanks to all that shaped you into the strong and valuable member of planet Earth who is precious and loved and always was. Oh my goodness. Is that not the most beautiful message of encouragement we could get when considering anything about any past karmics or karmic lessons that we may have had to go through? They are painful at the time of us going through them fresh. But when you put it like that, wow. And let's look at holy anger here, and then we'll be, yeah. Which I think, no, there's a couple more after that. Holy anger, be the change. To care deeply and passionately for a cause, this planet and its people, is to sometimes be disillusioned, disappointed, and full of rage at what we see happening around us. Injustice, greed, inequality, poverty, destruction, and abuse are hard to witness or experience during our time on Mother Earth. It is easy to get frustrated. However, as human beings, we need to master how and what we do with our anger and to channel it correctly to help create a better world rather than to seek vengeance or to harm another. In Yeshua, we have a template to follow since he himself had moments of fiercely calling out what he saw as wrong. The hypocrites of his day, including spiritual teachers who did not practice what they preached, and the money changers' tables that he overturned in the temples, calling it a den of thieves. However, he never used violence or aggression and never stooped to a lower energy. Rather, as he showed elsewhere, we are taught to turn the other cheek, meaning not to retaliate with like for like, not to meet with anger, but to go higher, take it to God, turn a new page, and begin again, responding with our hearts, not our fists. And let me see. You are reminded today that for whatever irks, annoys, or saddens you now, apathy is not the answer, nor is further rage, which can blind or incapacitate, preventing you from responding at all or responding without composure or reason. Within you, instead, is the ever bright flame of renewal, restoration, and a reflex to do the right thing. This may necessitate you counting to 10, breathing deeply, walking away before coming back more settled to renegotiate, and more. You may also be asked to be the better person to someone else who does not know how. Maybe they have never been taught, have never had a role model, or have never been questioned or held accountable. To walk in light is to never lose hope to realign to a spiritual response rather than remaining in a primary physiological one stemming from how anger manifests in the body. To learn to temper our anger so that it can do good, creating motivation and impetus to help birth new ways. This is not easy. It takes practice and can be misunderstood, but it is the way out of escalation and further fighting within yourself or another, and is the pathway ultimately to peace. Use what arises wisely and currently to create the change you seek. And you know, one of the things I was thinking about as I was reading that, especially if, okay, I get it. I'm not saying any of us are perfect. And I know that just like we have karmics, we've also been the karmic. But if you can look over your quote unquote karmic relationships, whether they're romantic or family or friends, whatever, if you can honestly say, you know, that you genuinely were not usually the antagonist, and that you genuinely typically left those people better than you found them, and certainly better than they tried to leave you, that you genuinely tried to do right by them, then what I was saying before about learning how to change the past, consider even, and again, not saying you want to be with them. I ain't nobody saying go back and re-get with a karmic. But do you not understand, chosen one, empath, how much good you can do sometimes just by shifting your attitude and thoughts around a person? You can help facilitate their healing as well. Just because they're your karmic soulmate doesn't mean they're a karmic doomed to an unpleasant end. Like I said, everybody plays a karmic sooner or later. So just like you could heal and ascend, so could they. Especially if you actually energetically rooting for them, you could help facilitate their birth and evolution. I'm not saying you're going to single-handedly save them, because it ain't even your responsibility to do that. But your thoughts are things, and the positive energy you send, the love and blessings you send towards even your karmics may make the difference between them softening their attitude, repenting, awakening, ascending, whatever you want to call it. Just some food for thought. This is your reading. I'm going to leave it here because we really can't do nothing else with this. This is beautiful, soul family. I'm glad to know that, because I was kind of worried what might come out regarding the karmics. But like I said, it's just a reminder to be a little gentler for them. Bless them too. Like Gandhi said, I bless those who brought me pain, for they are my teachers. Bless them. Anyway, that's it for this reading. I do thank you. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, soul family, peace and blessings to you. I love you. Namaste.